Ramon, during my MBA, one of the topics that we discussed and we learned at university was that of quiet quitting. So, quiet quitting is basically when an individual decides that they're not really going to do the job anymore, but they don't really have the balls to resign. Maybe they need the paycheck, maybe they just need a bridge in employment. But for all intents and purposes, they've mentally checked out, even though they haven't resigned. Watching what's occurred over the weekend with Ramaphosa postponing his cabinet reshuffle and using that opportunity to go and host a cattle auction did make me think to myself, has the president quietly quit his role as president of the country? What do you think?
I think that's completely right. So, like, quiet quitting is like doing the minimum requirement of the job without any enthusiasm whatsoever. And I think that's exactly what has happened. So, we know for a fact he tried to resign last year, but Gwede Mantashe said, no, it's not a good idea. You need to stay. And of course, he did stay, mainly due to the Pala Pala report against him. But in the last week, it has been a hell of a week for someone like Cyril, because number one, the Constitutional Court told him, we're not hearing your case for Pala Pala. You don't have direct access. Number two, the DA found out only yesterday that SARS has no idea how the hundreds of thousands of dollars arrived in Cyril's couch. Either the state capture inquiry and the state capture court cases are falling apart at the seams because the MPA is a nightmare, and basically nothing's going well for Uncle Cyril. So we know he's useless, but perhaps it's not uselessness, it's just that he just doesn't care and has quietly quit as president.
Yeah, I think you need to kind of consider for a moment the type of jobs that he was supposed to have done, right? He was supposed to have appointed a board of SABC that hasn't been appointed. He was meant to have reshuffled his cabinet as if that's going to make any difference, but that hasn't been done.
Though, to be fair, sorry to interrupt, it will be done by the time this video goes out.
But you can start to list off the number of jobs that Cyril should have done by now. Another one should be the Electoral Amendment Act, which he hasn't signed into Parliament yet, even though he's under a constitutional order to do so. Now, obviously, we are reminded that last year Cyril did actually quit, did he not? And he was encouraged to stay on. So, this has led to parties like Julius claiming that the president's there in body but not there in mind, and it's starting to look like that may be the truth.
Very much so, which makes me want to ask why on earth didn't he quit in the first place? Because, there's nothing worse than someone who diddle-daddles, but that is less worse than someone who has quietly quit and hasn't told anyone. The fact that SARS has come out and said we had no idea that there were these dollars in his couch is like a huge blow. It's like basically money laundering 101, almost proven. You don't need a court case for that. You just need SARS to say we had no idea there were dollars in his couch. And once again, the guy's a billionaire. Like, he could be doing anything he wants, anywhere in the world, but he's stuck here for some weird reason. And we saw in the State of the Nation address he talks about, oh, he's here because there's a moral duty to be here. I think that moral duty has gone out the window completely. He has quietly quit. He doesn't really care anymore. He is hanging around for some reason, maybe to prevent an ANC-EFF coalition of sorts, but he's not taking any firm decisions that will leave any form of legacy whatsoever.
No, look, I disagree with you. I don't think he's trying to avoid a EFF-ANC coalition. In fact, if anything, I actually think the only reason he's still around is because, according to all the latest polls, Ramaphosa being in the ANC is the only thing that may get the ANC above 30%. Without him, the ANC is pretty much dead. When Ramaphosa came to presidency, the whole point of Ramaphoria was that he would tackle corruption. If Ramaphosa fails at this point in time, then the ANC de facto is a corrupt organization. I think he's staying in place in order to give the ANC a degree of legitimacy, if you will. And the problem I now think he has is he has passed the point of being able to fix these things. And because of that, he's quietly quit.
That's right. We have created a brand new insurance brokerage called, funny enough, Morning Shot Insurance Brokers. So if you're interested in saving money on insurance, number one, but most importantly, having a Zoom with me and my wonderful face, why not send me your insurance schedule to ramon@morningshot.co.za? Let's chat. Maybe we can help each other save money and deliver superior service, because that's what we're all about here at Morning Shot. What are the repercussions from this? I think they are only positive in our minds. If Cyril doesn't care about fixing the ANC later in the country, they're going to continue to decline in electoral support come 2024. And most importantly, if he actually does quit in real life before the elections next year, the ANC will probably be under 30%. And any coalition agreement with the EFF will be sort of null and void because the numbers won't add up to do anything. So it's really not a bad thing that he has quietly quit. We actually sort of think he should quit for real. But if he has to quietly quit in the meantime, that's good enough.
In many respects, quietly quitting is actually worse than having juju at the realm, believe it or not. By him doing nothing, the country stands still. Arguably ironically, whilst Jacob Zuma was a complete nightmare for the country, he was still better than Ramaphosa, because bad policy that's enacted is still better than no policy. And at the moment, that's what we're finding. We're finding that policies are free-for-all. Nothing's actually happening in the country. There's so much that needs to be done. It just can't be fixed.
I fully disagree with you whatsoever. I think no policy is much better than bad policy. You're completely wrong on this, Byron. Completely wrong. This is the best time to be in South Africa because nothing gets done. So therefore, you're forced to do it yourself. It's the best scenario all around. And therefore, we can just live our lives in an enclave society. I don't know what you're talking about bad policy. Bad policy is worse than no policy. Now we've got zero policy. Brilliant. Best of all worlds. Come on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can tell us who you agree with. Do you reckon bad policy is better than no policy? We'd love to hear your comments. Put them in the comment section below. Until next time.
Right. Thanks for watching. Cheers.